Mustang News: smoke and flames consume the hillside near a historic Cal Poly landmark as students evacuated with only a moment's notice.
And Cal Poly students get a chance to speak out about parking issues.
And later, one Cal Poly sophomore tells us why President Trump's decision on DACA brought back some painful memories.
Broadcasting from Studio 300 on Cal Poly's campus, you're watching Mustang News.
Hello and welcome to Mustang News. I'm Annabelle Carpenter.
And I'm Joe DeAnda. Here are the top stories you need to know this week. This Tuesday, a fire broke out on the Cal Poly campus behind several residence halls and the historic Cal Poly P. Cal Fire tweeted this morning that the Poly fire remains 105 acres and is 90% contained. Crews are continuing to work today on several small flare-ups inside the burn areas. The Poly fire sparked on Tuesday at about 3:20 p.m. in the hills behind Cal Poly's residence halls, causing Sierra Madre, Yosemite Towers, and the homes along Slack Street to be evacuated. Mott Athletic Center opened as an evacuation center for students. Here's how one Cal Poly freshman reacted.
I left all my stuff in there, obviously. It was kind of a bummer. I could have at least taken my psych and studied, but I mean, everything's replaceable. My life isn't.
Multiple aircraft responded to the fire, and about 6:50 on Tuesday, fire officials said the flames were moving away from Cal Poly's campus. The cause of the fire is still unknown and is under investigation, but Cal Fire's public information officer, Chris Elms, says there were contractors working with heavy machinery and many students in the area at the time the fire broke out. All evacuation orders and road closures have been lifted, and there's no immediate threat to campus. Full containment is expected later today.
Cal Poly student Nicole Cortez hosted a parking concern forum in Kennedy Library this past Tuesday. Cortez listened to students' personal experiences of struggling with their own commutes to school. She plans to bring these stories to the attention of the university.
Some things I was thinking was we really have a problem with the orange permits the orange permits being allowed in other lots. There's not a lot of them, but there's a lot of people who want to park on campus, who are commuting, who are buying the weekly parking permits and can't park in the orange lots. And so they're taking some of the spaces away from other people. It just needs to be tweaked a little. I'm happy that the university is finally doing something about how hard it is to commute to campus, but I feel like they're not doing something about tweaking it, and I think that they need to tweak it.
Yesterday, the Cal Poly Twitter page announced the release of additional parking permits at 3 p.m. Priority for parking permits was given to students who commute or cannot take slow transportation.
President
Trump's September 5th DACA decision has left many unsure about their future. For Cal Poly student Dominique,
the recent DACA decision, childhood memories.
I know what this means for a lot of kids. I know kids that are supported.
For Cal Poly student Dominique Morales, the recent DACA decision brought back traumatic childhood memories.
I know what this means for a lot of kids. I know kids that are supported by it, and for them to just be torn away from their families and people they love, like, that sucks. Like, it ruins relationships.
Morales sympathizes with these families because when she was just 3 years old, her dad was deported.
So he was like my best friend. We did everything together, and then he told me, like, oh, I'm not going to come back for a while, so you might have a new dad.
As a child, it was very hard to understand why her parents were not together anymore.
One day he told me, oh, I met somebody and I have a new wife, and you're gonna have a sibling, and I got very, very upset.
She says that it's important that students support one another and do not turn a blind eye.
I think that's what people really could do, is just ask questions about how you can help, don't overstep, and kind of also, be an ally and really help other people, because that's the best thing you can do.
Carrie Mansager, the program director for the Office of Diversity and Inclusion, says that Cal Poly has resources for Dreamer students.
One of the most exciting and newest resources is our Dream Center. We also have a pretty robust undocumented student working group. And then there's a great student group called RISE, Rising Immigrant Scholars for Education.
Annabelle Carpenter, Mustang News.
if you or a friend are looking for a support network, go to Cal Poly's Dream Center page to find out how you can get involved.
Cal Poly ASI President Riley Nielsen took time to meet with Wowies in an interesting way before the start of the school year. The ASI president met with a lot of the students to discuss issues and welcome them to the Mustang family. Riley thought of that idea in order to connect with students, which was part of her original platform.
It was really neat because I was able to bring them into the student government office, and I made about 30 WOW groups pancakes every half hour, and I would just get to know them and introduce them to like what is student government, and while they were in the office we would register to vote through TurboVote.
The Pancakes with the President was able to show students what ASI does and was an introduction to student government that WOW leaders and new WOW students learned from alike. The event was able to register approximately 200 students to vote, which Riley hopes to track through the app TurboVote. Riley hopes to instill the students how much power and change they have with government.
On Saturday, the downtown vintage boutique Ruby Rose hosted the Mojo Flea Meets Markers Market. Reporter Tabitha Gordillo has the story.
Ruby Rose hosted its 5th Mojo Flea on Monterey Street this past weekend, which allows vendors to showcase their art, clothing, or products to the community. Stephanie Hendry, the owner of Ruby Rose, praises the impact that this market has on people.
Everybody helps each other. Everybody helps load their stuff, unload their stuff, takes people to other booths, or they collaborate, they share a booth. It's amazing.
Like Hendry, the vendors shared their enthusiasm for Mojo Flea.
It's so awesome, and just meeting everyone and talking to people. Everyone in the community is so supportive, and the energy is so good here.
When they started the Mojo, I went to the first one as a customer, and I just said I have to be in, so I was lucky enough to get into the show.
The event was full of Cal Poly students as well as families coming together to celebrate the old and the new.
Ruby Rose hosts the event twice a year and encourages Cal Poly students to attend.
Coming up next on Mustang News, find out if the heat will stick around. Shireen Barrow-Keem is up next with weather.
Laugh and makes people smile, and I feel like I have that quality. Everywhere that we go, he makes people laugh and makes people smile, and I feel like I have that quality.
He's the one who always takes me fishing.
I watch golf with him.
I watch him cook, because when I grow up, I want to be a cook too.
We have the same faces like this.
Dad is the one, when you fall, that picks you up.
That unconditional sense of presence and reassurance is really what makes him my father.
I will not be news today. I will not make headlines by going through a bad girl phase where I get that bad girl haircut where they shave just one side of your head. And I will not bring a Komodo dragon as my +1 to an award show, even though that would be awesome. I'm Olivia Munn, and I will not be trending today because there's a much bigger story that needs to be heard.
When you're out there, there's no telling what you'll find.
I see it, I see it! Oh, look at you.
There are some moments only the forest can inspire. Find yours at discovertheforest.org.
Hello and welcome back to Mustang News. I'm Shireen Barrow-Keem here with your weather update. We're going to see a high of 91 today and a low of 57. Sunny skies for the most part until you do see some clouds later in the day. Earlier in the broadcast, we talked about how there was a fire that happened on Tuesday right behind the residence halls. That changed the air quality index to moderate instead of what it's usually at, which is good. That's really okay. However, if you do feel sensitive to the air, if you have asthma, anything like that, make sure you stay inside for the majority of your day or just don't do any heavy exercises outside to make sure that you are okay. Winds will only reach about 5 miles per hour, but humidity is at a high of 92 for the week. This is a sunset that I took yesterday, actually, so you can see no clouds in the sky, but you still get those beautiful colors of the reds and the oranges and the yellows. So despite the fire going on, there's something to look forward to every single night. And we wish good luck to the people that were evacuated. I know that you guys are back safe in your home, and there are resources out there to help you out. 5-day forecast this week, a high of 89 today, 77 on Monday. The lowest that you'll see is actually Sunday at 55. We'll get this later in the week, but the ocean breeze is going to be coming in Saturday and a little bit on Monday. So those 3 days, you'll see some cooler temperatures. Going into North County, the highest of the highs, past Robles, 97 and a low of 50, 91 in San Luis Obispo, 94 in Santa Margarita. So North County, especially the more inland you go, the hotter it'll get. South County, Arroyo Grande is at 80, 83 in Napomo, 77 in Vandenberg. So South County, it's getting a little bit cooler, which is nice. And then beaches, my favorite part of any weekend. Today you're seeing 79, 80, and 80 in Avila Beach. All right, Brian Tung has your update on weather.
It's actually sports, your weather. Adley and Tori Van Winden have played on the same volleyball team since they were 7, but that all changed last year. Outside hitter Adley Van Winden is going into her 3rd year at Cal Poly, and her sister Tori joined the team as a sophomore. Their parents both attended and played sports at Cal Poly, which was a large influence in Adley's decision to come here. Tori, however, started off at UCLA and made the transfer to the Mustangs because she felt like something was missing.
Playing away from her since I was 7 years old, and so I didn't realize how much of a part of it was like just I don't know how to say it. It's just we have this kind of bond on the court, and when I was taken away from that setting, it felt like a whole new game to me.
Adley and Tori will also be able to play side by side during the beach volleyball season. The Mustangs are currently 13-2 with an 8-game winning streak. Mitch Haniger, who played baseball for Cal Poly, is making impacts in the majors for the Seattle Mariners. Since returning from the disabled list after being hit in the face with a 95-mile-per-hour fastball, Haniger has been dialed in at the plate. In his first game back on August 19th, Mitch crushed his first career Grand Slam home run. And in the final month of the 2017 MLB regular season, Haniger is hitting .337 with 4 doubles, 1 triple, 13 RBIs, and 7 home runs. Cal Poly baseball coach Larry Lee had high praise for the former Mustang.
Happy for what he's accomplished, and you just hope that he can stay injury-free, continue to put up the numbers he does, and then he could have a very long, successful Major League career.
In his rookie season with the Mariners, Haniger is batting .276 with 16 home runs, 47 RBIs, and just 91 games played. Now let's take a look over at Cal Poly's schedule this weekend. The men's soccer team begins Big West Conference play this weekend as they host UC Riverside tonight at 7 p.m. and Cal State Fullerton Saturday at 7 p.m. The women's soccer team begins Big West Conference play with 2 home games this weekend as well, Friday against UC Irvine at 7 p.m. and Sunday against UC Riverside at 12 p.m. The women's volleyball team will look to extend their 8-game winning streak as they play 2 road games this weekend, Friday at 7 p.m. against Long Beach State and Saturday at 7 p.m. against Cal State Northridge. The football team will continue to avoid losing their 5th straight as the Mustangs travel to Idaho to take on Idaho State at 1:30 p.m. Well, that's all we have for the sports action for this week. We'll be right back with you after the break.
It's a short ride from your neighborhood to your naturehood. To find a neighborhood park or green space near you, visit discovertheforest.org.
Thank you so much for joining us this week on Mustang News. I know we had a lot of great stories, and I'm glad that everyone is safe after that fire. That's all we have for this week.
Really appreciate it. Have a great afternoon. And remember, stick with Mustang News for any further breaking news updates that happen. Have a great afternoon. Thanks.